I'm an avid traveler, CEO of BudoVideos.com, and lifelong student of the martial arts who strives to know more about the competitors and instructors who are revolutionizing the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Join me in my journey as I train, learn, and get rolled up. His training began at an early age under the guidance of Carlos Gracie Jr. in the Rio suburb of Tijuca. Shortly after receiving his black belt, he quickly became one of the world's top competitors in his weight class. He now resides in the suburban city of Irvine, California, where he spends his time tirelessly teaching, opening new schools, and otherwise spreading the art that we all love. His name is Marcio Feitosa, and he's the man that I have always called my teacher. Today on Rolled Up, we have a special guest. He is my first and main jiu-jitsu instructor. He's also the guy that I blame for thoroughly infecting me with this addiction of jiu-jitsu. Marcio Feitosa, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
So Marcio, guys that are outside of Gracie Barra might not know what you've been up to because we haven't seen you in competition for about 4 years. What have you been doing for the last few years?
For the last four years, I am dedicating a lot to teaching. I am mainly in California, but at times also traveling to other states. I spent 6 months in Texas helping Gracie Barra black belts establishing their schools. And that's pretty much my focus, is being in teaching and helping the new generation of Gracie Barra instructors to establish themselves.
Mm-hmm. So going from this busy competition lifestyle to more of a role of supporting the next generation, was that a smooth transition?
Yes, I want to say it was smooth. I feel like I did everything in good timing. I competed a lot, enjoyed it, and when I made the transition, I was very passionate about figuring out better teaching methods or how to better manage the Gracie Barra schools, and figuring out how to help the newer generations so they could be better than my generation, just like the prior generations told us that it's how we evolve, right? Yeah. One generation needs to be better than the other. It was a smooth transition, and I'm very happy, man. Like 24/7 I'm involved with Jiu-Jitsu, and the way I see Jiu-Jitsu, I did not stop competing. It's just a different arena now. I'm just playing on a different position in the team.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
And how's Gracie Barra doing as an organization?
I feel like we are very strong, very, very strong. Master Carlos is a great leader, and he prepared well everyone that is taking more and more responsibility as he grows older and as the organization grows larger. I feel like we are very strong. We are moving forward, making progress.
Mm-hmm. Marcio, one of the things that I've heard you talk about in class, and I would like to dive in a little deeper, is the topic of ego in our training. I often hear instructors say things like, leave your ego at the door, or similar things. But can we start off and explain to me a little bit of how ego gets in the way of our training?
That's an interesting subject. I see what you're saying. A lot of times it's even at the door in some martial arts schools, like leave your ego at the door. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure it's the right way to put it, because ego can get in the way of the training, but ego can also help you to excel. Have to have ego at a certain level, I think.
Okay. I was talking to one guy probably a year or so ago, and he said the whole point of training is to kick ass. We come here to beat the other guy. To me, that's not what training is about, but what do you think?
Man, I can share my experience, right? Growing up, I saw at Gracie Barra an environment where we had the toughest competitors in the same mats. We saw regular students that had a full-time job and just came to jiu-jitsu to train. And some were there to get in shape, some were there to make friends, some were there for self-defense. And the culture was never that we were there to beat each other. It was that it was possible for us to compete with cooperation. That was the philosophy. And it worked. Gracie Barra today is one of the best competition teams out there. And these guys are winning tournaments in the highest level without having to go through an environment where they were just trying to beat each other and consequently just injuring themselves all over. I disagree with that philosophy. I don't think that's the best way for you to excel, neither in competition or in whatever you're trying to achieve with jiu-jitsu.
Marcio, I see some guys that their game is the same, their style is the same, whether they're fighting against or sparring against a white belt in class or a brown belt or a black belt. They're just trying to crush them and win. But it seems to me that we should adapt our sparring strategy based on the level of our partner. Can you talk about a little bit about your thoughts on if you're sparring against somebody who has a lower rank than you, or the same rank as you, or higher? How should we adapt our strategy for those people?
Yeah, I agree. We should adapt the way we spar according to our partner and even according to our goals. And the first step is that we have the right attitude, right mental attitude towards sparring. The sparring is an opportunity for us to push each other to the limit. Great opportunity. It's fun, it's challenging, but if you think about pushing each other to the limit, when you reach your limit, I might slow down now, because I understand it's also about you. It's not only about my limit. That's a good way I find to adjust myself. I train with all different belt levels at my school, and I make these adjustments. I find that I get great benefit from my sparring, and I find that people enjoy sparring with me. And in the long term, I find that the students here are able to spread that same philosophy, and we have I want to say pretty large part of our students here enjoy sparring. Our philosophy, we are very much for sparring. Our white belts, they spar.
Whenever I watch you spar with the other students, it's interesting, because if it's, for example, watching you spar with a purple belt, at the end of the match I would think, wow, that was really close. Marcio came out on top, but that was a very close match. Then I'll watch you with a black belt, and the same thing. It's like, oh, that was very close, but again, Marcio came out on top. So you're always adjusting your game just a little bit above your partner's level, and that's what makes it so much fun sparring with upper belts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have that focus.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. One, I want my partner to pass it forward.
Yeah.
Because I know once someone figures out how to spar in a safe way and at the same time push himself to the limit, he will stay with jiu-jitsu. He will fall in love with it. I also do this because I find that I improve more if I spar with a lower rank belt and I give him some room to attack. I give him some room to escape from my attacks, because now I can work on my transitions. Now I have an opportunity to work on my escapes. The opposite is to just attack, and then to be just practicing one aspect of my game. But I am always thinking about adjusting my sparring to the level of my partner, and that's how I learned too, because I was always a lightweight. A lot of my training partners were much heavier than I am. For instance, Flavio, you know Flavio?
Yeah.
He's much heavier than I am. When Flavio was a purple belt, he was already like a high skill level jiu-jitsu practitioner. He was not necessarily every time he sparred with me trying to beat me up. So it happens both sides. So that's how we learned. That's how we always did it. So to me, it comes natural, right, to do that type of stuff. And like even today, we have our competition team here. We have a competition team training. And when I show up, I train with Kyra, I train with Romulo Barral, I train with Tusa, and many others. They are not necessarily trying to beat me, because if they were, it would be very tough to participate on that training in first place, and I don't think they would benefit so much from the training as they do when they adjust a little bit and now we exchange techniques.
Marcio, you're a very well-rounded grappler, but I'd like to ask you about guard passing today. Can you show me some of your favorite ways to pass the guard?
Sure, yeah. Let's go. So can you please lie down? Okay. Let's study one way to pass here. If you find yourself, for instance, in spider guard, let's say Jake steps on my biceps, controls the sleeve. And you know how challenging it can be to control both legs, let's say. I am in good shape here. I would circle and pass with no problem. Or, see, he has spider guard. I could bump him up and pass from here. But at times it's challenging controlling both legs. What I like to do is to focus on controlling one leg only. So let's say I'll pin Jake's left leg. I'll focus on breaking one of his grips. So I want to free his arm, broke the grip, and I'll turn on my side. Okay, that will make it easy now to pin the leg down. Watch. See? It's not too hard, and from here, it'll be very challenging from him to stop my transition to the side mount control. Okay? We'll see 3 different ways to pass the guard once we are at this point. Okay, I'll show you real quick. First one underneath. The second one, over the leg. And the third one, I will lock his leg. It works really well. You will not always be stuck in spider guard. You can, from the start, do not give your hand to him, do not give your leg, stay sideways, So this way you fight just at one side. See, it's hard for him to keep my biceps when he is not holding anything at the other side. Try to grab here, Jake. See, I'll not give anything to him. Tries to hold my hand, will not have it. Tries to step or push it away. See, when I move back, easy to pin the leg. That's number one. Once you're here, it'll be challenging for him now. Okay, start driving weight on him. See, with his upper body, the reaction is pretty much always the same. He will face you, he will push with his hands. Now you keep the grip and start driving your shoulder on him. The second line of defense he has is the leg. That's what we are waiting. Once the leg comes through, it will tell us which guard pass to use. Okay? On the first one, Jake, keep your leg high. So let's say Jake's keeping his leg high. He's trying to prevent my right shoulder from going on his plexus. Okay, so my left hand swims underneath the leg and I hook right here. See, you make a grip on the pants. Both sides. This one here is low, as if I was punching down his foot. And from here I will go. Okay? The hook is there. I'm controlling the pants. I'm putting a weight on Jake. I'll start circling. I am squaring up with him and looking to get my left shoulder under the leg. Okay, I'm driving weight forward. Keeping my grip, but hiding my elbow. Posting with my right foot, so I'm heavy here. And I'll reach my thumb deep on the collar. Okay, I'm still squaring up with Jake, just putting weight. Just now start circling. At this point, I can let go this leg. I already chose my guard pass. And I will control his hip. My right hand's holding his pants and pulling up his hip. I'll circle, head up, chest forward. His leg will pop out, my chest is already on his chest. See, no room for him to escape, to do anything. My knees are off the mats, I'm heavy here, and now my hands will come in to adjust. One behind the neck, the other one behind the elbow, and I lock my hands. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two comes when I'll pin Jake's leg down. That's my first goal, to pin this leg down. Elbows tight, and I start driving forward. His leg comes in as a shield. This time, Jake will keep his leg low. It happens very often, around my belt level. So I'm trying to drive my shoulder, but the leg is there blocking. Over, and then I'll control his pants. Okay, I have both hands controlling his bottom leg. See? Now shift my weight from my heels to my shoulder. Put a lot of weight on Jake. I push with my right shoulder. At times I push with my left shoulder. And I keep moving forward and circling. And he'll be pushing, pushing, pushing. When I feel like I already cleared his legs, see, already cleared, I can let it go one grip. I like to control here, right close to his wrist. And I start pulling it up and aiming chest to chest. See, now it's the same. My knees are off the floor. I'll go behind the neck, underneath the elbow, lock my hands. Once you're here, adjust your shoulder on his jaw. Watch my right shoulder. Every little adjustment like that will help you secure the position. Now, the third guard pass, okay? Let's say Jake's holding, I broke the grip, either that or he's trying to grab something, I'm fighting back. I'm not giving him my left leg, my left hand, because my plan is to control low, move back. As I move back, his hook will go away, easy like that. Then I will kind of mount on his foot and drive right away. It's his job now to stop my shoulder from collapsing on his plexus. Okay, so he's using his hands, and the second line of defense is this leg here. Now it's right on the center, not too high, not too low. See, if I put my weight close to his knee, he can hold a lot of weight here. See, I'm pushing with all my weight. It's no problem for Jake to stop me from moving forward. But if now I shift my weight from the knee to stay low, close to his foot, watch. It's my left shoulder going lower, close to the foot. When I drive forward and I make a grip with my left hand on his belt, he will not stop me from moving forward anymore. See, even though his leg is pretty much on the same spot, my right shoulder is already on his plexus. That's my goal. Okay, once here, I'll pass the guard without losing adjustment. This grip stays until my left knee touches my left elbow. See? Left knee on left elbow. I can release this one. Just using that adjustment here, I'll make it impossible for Jake to recover the guard. Try, Jake. No way, I'll follow him. Now right hand behind the neck, just like we did before. Let go your grips, chest to chest, knees off the mat, underneath the elbow. And here, lock your thumb, okay? Hands together.
Good stuff.
It was really nice to be back on the mats sparring with Marcio. Back in 2005, we got to spar a lot, but since then, Gracie Barra has grown a lot. He's been very busy opening up new schools and teaching at other places, so it's been a while since we'd had a chance to roll together. And like I mentioned earlier, the thing that I really like about sparring with Marcio is that he always goes just a little bit above the level of a student. So whether it's a white belt or a black belt that he's sparring with, it always looks like a really close match. And at first, that gave me a little boosting. I thought I was doing pretty well, but then when I saw him rolling with other world champs, I realized that that was just the way he rolls. He lets you move. He doesn't just smash. And he oftentimes doesn't even go for submissions. He seems to focus on guard passes and sweeps. And he keeps the roll moving, which, if you've seen any of his competition footage, it's kind of a contrast. In competition, he plays a very conservative, intelligent game, oftentimes winning on points. But in the academy, he opens it up and lets things be dynamic. And I think that's a sign of a very good instructor. He's not just looking to feed his ego, submitting his students over and over. He lets you move around and keeps things moving. Marcio's a very patient instructor, also very focused on the basics. Oftentimes don't see him doing any of the fancy moves, but what he does works. And it's not surprising, being a lifelong student of Carlos Gracie Jr. Okay, coming up here is one of the coolest looking sweeps of our roll here. A little sweep from open guard. Gets the grip on the sleeve, grip on the knee, and just kicks and rolls over. Marcio's very good at applying pressure where he needs it. Very good at guard passing. Which is why we asked him to focus on guard passing for the technique section. It's really fun rolling with new guys, new instructors that I've never trained with before. I oftentimes get surprised because I'm not familiar with their movements. But having trained with Marcio for a number of years, I know his strengths, but that still doesn't mean that I'm able to stop it. His fundamental movements are so good. His passes are so clean. And his stand-up, he always gets the grip. Marcio was a very active competitor in the late 90s and the early part of the 2000s. Had a lot of really good matches with guys like Leo Vieira and other guys in the lightweight class. He had a couple MMA matches as well, but he never really seemed to want to focus too much on MMA. And now he's very busy, as he puts it, on competing on a different kind of mat in the business world, opening up schools and growing Gracie Barra and therefore Jiu-Jitsu worldwide.
Good job, Jake.
Marcio.
Thank you.
Well, that was a great roll that I just had with Marcio Feitosa. You know, he's the type of instructor, like we were saying earlier, he goes just above your level, so he lets you move around and feel like you might be getting the best of him. But it was a lot of fun transitioning to stand up, and he'd always beat me to the grip. You know, someone who's been training and teaching for that long, he knows all those small details that make all the difference. So I thank Marcio for the roll and the great session here with Marcio Feitosa. Marcio, it was nice to be on the receiving end of those amazing guard passes. I want to talk to you a little bit more about guard passing. Sometimes you were standing up, sometimes you were on the mat. What's the general rule for when you should stand up to pass and when you should stay on the mat to pass?
To me, it's when you are on your knees, you want to be tight, and when you stand up, you want to open for more possibilities, be more aggressive, I may say. Take a bit more of a risk as well, because you're offering more space for his attacks. I want to say, if you want to open to more possibilities and be more aggressive, you stand up. Now you want to just stay tight, play a bit more conservative, then you drop to your knees.
Okay. Some guys are more known for their heavy, slow guard passing, and some guys are more known for their fast passing. What's your philosophy on those two?
I want to say strive for a combination of the two. At times you will want to slow down and keep your position, but at times you will want to be quick, fast, and anticipate whatever he's trying. Instead of being set at one way to go, a combination of the two, I find to be the best scenario.
Okay. Someone that's been training for so long, like yourself, are you still learning new things on the mat?
Definitely. Today, I focus a lot in learning stuff outside of the techniques as well. I guess as you grow older, you start learning a lot in those aspects. The philosophical aspect, what is happening besides the techniques. I learn so much about techniques every day. Just yesterday, Romulo Barral showed me how he applied that submission in Italy. I did not even get it quite well yet, but it was cool. It was a move I never seen before. But my heart is at understanding the other aspects of Jiu-Jitsu right now.
Can you share with us one thing that you've been studying or learning recently?
Yes. I have this book called Martial Virtues. This is the book I am reading right now. It talks about the virtues of the warrior, and it's for all martial artists. It's not for Jiu-Jitsu. But I always see the things they mention in the books happening inside Gracie Barra. It adds to my day-to-day work. It adds to my training.
Great. Well, Marcio, I want to thank you again for being such an incredible teacher and for sharing some of your teachings with us today.
Thank you, Jake. It was fun, man.
Thank you. If people want to learn more about Gracie Barra, where can they go?
Man, we have the main website, BudoVideos.com, but what I've been telling people is search to the main school in your area. Like if you are in California, we have the Irvine School. If you are in Texas, we have Gracie Barra, Texas. If you are in Canada, we have Gracie Barra, Vancouver. In Australia, we have Gracie Barra, Sydney. And this guy can refer you to good instructors according to where you live or whatever is more convenient for you to go.
Okay, great. And guys, be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/BudoForLife, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Budo Jake. Thanks for watching.